The rain pounds against the library windows like desperate fingertips, and I'm staring at her again. Grace Patel sits 3 tables away, her dark hair falling like silk curtains round a face that belongs in old paintings, the kind that make you stop breathing for a second. She's been at Eastwood High for exactly 2 weeks, and in that time, she's managed to remain completely untouchable, unreachable. A mystery wrapped in vintage band t-shirts, and the kind of quiet that feels intentional. I should be editing the school paper. The cursor blinks accusingly at me from my laptop screen, but my eyes keep drifting to the way she turns pages, slow, deliberate, like she's savoring each word, like she has all the time in the world, when everything about her screams that time has already run out. You're staring again, Henry. My best friend Marcus slides into the chair across from me, his voice cutting through my trance. I don't deny it. There's no point. She's different, I murmur, finally looking away. Different how? The whole tragic beautiful girl thing. Dude, you write poetry. Of course you're obsessed with her. But it's more than that. It's the way she holds herself, like she's carrying something heavy, something that makes her shoulders curve inward just slightly. It's how she never quite meets anyone's eyes. But when she does, Christ, when she does, it's like she's seeing straight through to whatever you're trying to hide. Thunder rolls overhead, and the lights flicker. In that brief moment of dimness, I see her looking at me, not past me, not through me, at me. Her eyes are the color of winter storms, gray with flecks of silver that catch the light. They hold mine for exactly 3 heartbeats before she looks away, but it's enough. Enough to make my chest tight, enough to make me forget how to breathe properly. The light's steady, and she's already gathering her books. I don't think, I just move. Grace, wait. She freezes at the sound of her name, her hand suspended over her backpack. Slowly, she turns, up close. She's even more devastating. There's a small scar above her left eyebrow, barely visible unless you're close enough to count her eyelashes, which apparently I am. Henry Walsh, I say, like an idiot, like she doesn't already know who I am. I know who you are. Her voice is honey over gravel, soft but rough around the edges. You write for the paper. You read it. Something flickers across her face, surprise, maybe, or amusement. I read everything. The rain intensifies, drumming harder against the glass. We're standing too close, close enough that I can smell her perfume, something dark and complex, like vanilla mixed with smoke, like secrets. I was wondering if maybe you'd want to know. The word hits like a physical blow, but she doesn't step away. If anything, she moves closer. Close enough that I can see the gold threading through her dark irises. You were wondering if I'd want to what, Henry? Her voice is barely above a whisper, but there's something dangerous in it, something that makes my pulse spike. Get coffee? Talk about books? Let you interview me for some human interest piece? I wasn't, you were. She reaches out, and for one impossible moment, I think she's going to touch me. Instead, her fingers hover just over my wrist, close enough to feel the heat radiating from her skin. But not because you want to write about me. My throat feels dessert dry. Then why? She tilts her head, studying me like I'm a puzzle she's deciding whether to solve. The air between us feels electric, charged with something I don't understand but desperately want to. Because you look at me like I'm not already broken. Before I can respond, before I can ask her what she means, she's walking away. Her footsteps echo in the suddenly quiet library, and I'm left standing there with my heart hammering and the distinct feeling that something fundamental just shifted. Thunder crashes overhead, and the lights flicker again. This time, when they steady, she's gone. The abandoned theater smells like dust and forgotten dreams, but Grace looks at home here among the shadows. How did you find this place? I ask, following her down the narrow aisle between rows of moth-eaten seats. The old Paramount has been closed for years, but somehow she has a key. I find places, she says simply, not turning around. It's what I do. The beam of her flashlight dances across faded murals and tarnished gold trim. Everything here is beautiful in its decay, like Grace herself, polished surface hiding something deeper, more complicated. We're here because she said yes. 3 days after the library incident, she appeared at my locker with an invitation that sounded more like a dare. Meet me at the corner of 5th and Main at midnight. If you're brave enough, I was. Apparently. Why here? I ask as she settles into one of the front row seats, tucking her legs beneath her. The stage looms above us, empty, but somehow expectant. It's honest. She turns off the flashlight, plunging us into darkness broken only by streetlight filtering through boarded windows. No pretending here. No masks. I sit beside her, leaving. Careful space between us, but the air still crackles with awareness. In the dark, her breathing sounds too loud, too close. Is that what you do everywhere else? Pretend? Don't we all? There's something raw in her voice, something that makes me want to reach for her hand. I don't, not yet. What are you pretending to be? I ask instead. She's quiet for so long I think she won't answer. When she does, her voice is barely audible above the rain, starting to tap against the roof. Normal. Whole. Someone who belongs in a place like Eastwood. You don't. Do you think I do? It's a challenge, but also a trap. Either answer could be wrong. In the darkness, I hear her shift, feel the brush of her sleeve against my arm, such a small touch, but it sends heat racing through my bloodstream. I think you're exactly where you're supposed to be, I say finally. Even if where I'm supposed to be is broken, this time, I do reach for her. My fingers find hers in the darkness, and she doesn't pull away. Her skin is soft but cold, like marble that hasn't seen sunlight. Everyone's broken, Grace. The question is what we do with the pieces. She turns her hand over, palm up, and our fingers interlace. It's such a simple gesture, but it feels monumental, like crossing a line we can't uncross. You don't know me, she whispers. Then tell me. The rain grows heavier, a steady rhythm against the old building. In the darkness, she could be anyone. She could be no one. But her hand in mine is real, warm now, solid. I used to dance, she says suddenly. Ballet. I was good, really good. Good enough that people talked about Juilliard, about the American Ballet Theater. Used to. Past tense. I file that away, along with the way her voice goes soft when she talks about it. What happened? Her hand tightens on mine. Life happened. Loss happened. The kind of thing that breaks you so completely you forget how all the pieces used to fit together. I want to ask more, but something in her tone warns me off instead. I lift our joined hands, bring her knuckles to my lips. The kiss is barely there, gossamer light, but I feel her sharp intake of breath. Grace don't, but she doesn't pull away. If anything, she leans closer, until I can feel her breath against my cheek. Don't say whatever you're about to say. Don't try to fix me, Henry. Don't try to save me. What if I don't want to do either of those things? Then what do you want? The question hangs between us like a challenge. I could lie. I could give her something safe, something that won't scare either of us. Instead, I tell her the truth. I want to know what makes you laugh. I want to know what keeps you awake at night. I want to know why you carry yourself like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I want to be here when it does. She's so close now I can count her heartbeats, feel the tremor that runs through her at my words. And if I told you that I'm not worth knowing, that I'm not worth waiting for, then I'd tell you that you're wrong. For a moment, the only sound is rain and our breathing. Then she moves, swift and sure, her free hand coming up to frame my face. Her thumb traces my cheekbone, and I've never been more aware of my own skin. You have no idea what you're getting into, she breathes. Maybe that's the point. She leans forward, and I hope she's going to kiss me. Instead, she presses her forehead to mine, and the intimacy of it nearly undoes me. The last person who thought they could handle me, she whispers, didn't survive it. Before I can ask what she means, car headlights sweep across the theater windows. Bright and intrusive, Grace jerks away like she's been burned, and the spell breaks. I have to go, she says, already standing. Grace, wait, but she's moving toward the exit, leaving me alone in the darkness with the taste of her secrets on my tongue, and the feeling that I've just glimpsed something I was never meant to see. She kisses me on a Tuesday. It happens in the empty darkroom. Red light painting everything the color of blood and desire. She's helping me develop photos for the school paper, candid shots of students that somehow all look lonely, isolated, like everyone's carrying their own invisible weight. You see too much, she says, studying a print of a girl sitting alone in the cafeteria. Grace's shoulder brushes mine as she leans closer, and I have to concentrate on breathing normally. Is that bad? Dangerous? The photograph curls slightly in the developer, and Grace's fingers brush mine as we lift it together. Such a small touch, but my skin burns where she makes contact. Why? I ask, turning to face her. We're standing too close again, but I don't step back. Can't step back. She's wearing a thin sweater that clings to her curves, and her hair catches the red light like spun copper. Beautiful. Devastating. Because some things are better left unseen, she whispers, and some things are worth the risk. Her eyes search mine, looking for something, permission, maybe, or forgiveness for whatever she's about to do. Then her hand comes up to cup my cheek, and the world narrows to just this, her touch, her breath. The way she's looking at me like I'm something precious and breakable. Henry, don't, I say, echoing her words from the theater. Don't think, don't analyze, just be here, with me. She rises on her toes, and I meet her halfway. The first touch of her lips is tentative, questioning. I answer by sliding my arms around her waist, pulling her closer until there's no space left between us. She tastes like coffee and secrets, like all the words she hasn't said yet. The kiss deepens, and she makes a small sound in the back of her throat that nearly undoes me. Her hands fist in my shirt, and I can feel her heart hammering against mine. She's trembling, or maybe I am. Maybe we both are. When we break apart, we're both breathing hard. Her lipstick is smudged, and I want to kiss her again just to mess it up further. We shouldn't, she starts. Says who? Says reality. Says the fact that I'm not. She stops, shakes her head. I'm not good for you, Henry. Let me decide that. She laughs, but there's no humor in it. You don't understand. You think you know me, but you don't. You don't know what I've done, what I've lost. Then tell me. The red light flickers, and in that brief darkness, I see something crack in her expression. When the light steadies, her walls are back up, but not completely, not entirely. His name was Daniel, she says finally, the words coming out like they're being torn from her. We were together for 2 years. He was going to propose after graduation. Was, past tense again. My stomach drops. Grace, he died because of me. The words are barely audible, but they hit like a physical blow. Because I was driving. Because I was upset about something stupid, and I wasn't paying attention. And I pull her against me before she can finish. Before she can say whatever terrible thing she thinks will push me away. She resists for a moment, then collapses into me, like a puppet with cut strings. I killed him, she whispers into my chest. The boy I loved, the boy who loved me back. And I killed him because I was selfish and reckless and, stop. I tilt her chin up, force her to look at me. Her eyes are bright with unshed tears, and she looks so young, so broken. It was an accident, Grace. Accidents happen. That doesn't make it your fault. You don't know, I know you. I cup her face in my hands, brush away a tear with my thumb. I know you wouldn't hurt anyone on purpose. I know you carry everyone's pain like it's your own. I know you think you don't deserve to be happy, but you're wrong. She stares at me like I've just performed a miracle or committed a crime. How can you say that? How can you look at me and not see I see someone who's been hurt? Someone who's been carrying guilt that isn't hers to carry. I see someone beautiful and brave and worth fighting for. Henry, I kiss her again, softer this time, trying to pour everything I can't say into the contact. She melts into me, her hands coming up to tangle in my hair. When we part, her forehead rests against mine, and we're both trembling. I'm scared. She breathes. Of what? Of this, of you. Of what happens when you realize I'm not worth the trouble. That's not going to happen. You can't know that. I can know that I'm not going anywhere. I can know that whatever you think you've done, whatever guilt you're carrying, it doesn't change how I feel about you. She pulls back to study my face, searching for signs of doubt or deception. Whatever she finds there must satisfy her, because she nods once, almost imperceptibly. Okay, she whispers, okay, I'll try to let you in, to stop pushing you away. Her smile is small and fragile, but it's real. Just be patient with me. I've got all the time in the world. The darkroom timer goes off, piercing the moment with its sharp beep. The photographs we've been developing hang around us like ghosts, capturing moments that are already past. But this moment, Grace in my arms, her walls finally cracking, Her trust offered like a gift, this moment I want to hold forever. She steps back, straightening her sweater, trying to compose herself. But I can see the change in her, the way she holds herself a little straighter, a little less like she's preparing for impact. We should get these to the paper, she says. But her voice is softer now, warmer. In a minute, I pull her back to me, press a soft kiss to her temple. She sighs and melts into the contact. And I know that everything has changed between us, the careful distance we've maintained. The walls she's built, they're not gone, but they're cracking. And for the first time since I've known her, Grace Patel looks like she might believe she deserves to be happy. The letter arrives on a Thursday. I find Grace in the theater again, sitting in the same front row seat, but everything about her is different. The careful composure she's built over the past weeks has crumbled, leaving her raw and exposed. The letter lies crumpled at her feet like a discarded snake skin. Grace, I call softly, making my way down the aisle. She doesn't look up, doesn't acknowledge me at all. In the dim light filtering through the boarded windows, she looks ethereal, untouchable, like she might disappear if I move too fast. His parents are suing, she says when I reach her. Her voice is hollow, mechanical, wrongful death. They want to make sure I never forget what I took from them. I sink into the seat beside her, close enough to feel the tremor running through her body. What do the lawyers say? That it won't go anywhere, that it's just grief talking. She finally looks at me, and her eyes are devastated. But they're right, aren't they? I did take him from them. I took their son, their future. Stop. I reach for her hand, but she pulls away. Don't touch me. The words are sharp, desperate. Please, I can't. If you touch me right now, I'll fall apart completely. So I sit there, close but not touching, watching her unravel. It's agony. Every instinct I have screams to pull her into my arms, to hold her until the shaking stops, but I force myself to stay still. Tell me about him, I say instead. She flinches like I've slapped her. What, Daniel? Tell me about him. What was he like? For a moment, I think she'll refuse. Then, slowly, words begin to spill out of her. He was kind, gentle. He wanted to be a teacher, work with kids who'd been through the system like he had. Her voice breaks. He never raised his voice, never lost his temper. Even when I was being impossible, he just waited until I was ready to talk. He sounds perfect. He was. The words are barely audible. He was perfect, and I was a mess. I am a mess. He deserved someone who could match his goodness, and instead he got me. Grace, I was so angry that night. The words pour out of her now, unstoppable. He'd gotten into state, and I hadn't heard from Juilliard yet, and I was spiraling, convinced I wasn't good enough, that I'd never be good enough. And he was trying to comfort me, trying to tell me it would be okay, but I didn't want to hear it. I can see it playing out in my mind, the fight, the car, the moment when everything changed forever. I told him I needed space, told him to leave me alone. But he followed me anyway, because that's who he was. He followed me out to the car, and he was still trying to talk to me when I pulled out of the parking lot. Her breathing is becoming erratic, and I can't stand it anymore. I reach for her, and this time she doesn't pull away. She collapses against me like she's been holding herself upright. Through sheer force of will, the rain had just started. She whispers into my chest, just a drizzle, but enough to make the roads slick. I was driving too fast, and I was crying, and I couldn't see properly. When that truck ran the red light, she doesn't finish, doesn't need to. It wasn't your fault. I tell her, stroking her hair, the truck ran the red light, Grace, not you. But if I hadn't been upset, if I hadn't stormed out, if I'd just listened to him, then maybe you both would have been in the car. Maybe you'd both be dead. She goes very still in my arms. Don't say that. It's true. You can't rewrite history, Grace. You can't go back and change what happened. All you can do is decide how to move forward. She pulls back to look at me, her face streaked with tears. How do I move forward when I can see his face every time I close my eyes? When I can hear his voice telling me he loves me right before I cup her face in my hands, force her to focus on me. You move forward because that's what he would want. Because staying stuck in that moment doesn't honor his memory, it wastes the life you still get to live. I don't deserve. Stop. I press my forehead to hers. Stop telling me what you don't deserve. You deserve love. You deserve happiness. You deserve to dance again, to dream again, to live without carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. I can't. Yes, you can. I kiss her forehead, soft and reverent. You can because you're the strongest person I know. You can because you survived something that would have destroyed most people. You can because I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. She's crying harder now, great shuddering sobs that shake her entire body. I hold her through it, whispering nonsense words of comfort, letting her break apart in my arms, because sometimes breaking apart is the only way to heal. When the crying finally subsides, she's limp against me, wrung out but somehow lighter, like she's been carrying a poison that finally has a way out. I loved him, she whispers. I know, but I think. She hesitates, then looks up at me with something like wonder in her eyes. I think I might love you too. The words hit me like lightning, electric and terrifying and perfect. Grace, I know it's wrong. I know it's too soon, that I'm too broken, that I don't deserve. I silence her with a kiss, pouring everything I've been holding back into the contact. She responds immediately, desperately, like she's drowning and I'm air. When we break apart, we're both breathing hard. I love you too, I tell her, the words feeling like both a confession and a promise. I love your strength and your vulnerability, and the way you see beauty in broken things. I love that you feel everything so deeply it nearly destroys you. I love you, Grace, all of you, the light and the darkness and everything in between. She stares at me like I've just offered her something impossible. Then she's kissing me again, fierce and hungry and desperate. I can taste her tears, her fear, her hope. I can taste the future we might have if we're brave enough to reach for it. When we finally part, the theater around us feels different, smaller, like it's just big enough to hold the two of us and this fragile, precious thing growing between. "US, what happens now?" she asks. "Now we figure it out together." She nods, and for the first time since I've known her, Grace Patel looks like she might believe in happy endings again. The dance studio is empty except for us. Grace stands at the bar, her reflection multiplied infinitely in the wall of mirrors. She's wearing a simple black leotard and tights, her hair pulled back in a severe bun. She looks like she's preparing for battle. "I haven't done this in 8 months, she says, not meeting my eyes in the mirror. "You don't have to." "Yes, I do." Her voice is steady, but I can see her hands trembling on the bar. "I have to try. It's been 2 weeks since the theater, since the letter, since everything broke open between us. 2 weeks of careful conversations and tentative touches, of learning to trust this thing that's growing between us. 2 weeks of watching Grace slowly, carefully, put herself back together. The dance studio was my idea, a way for her to reclaim something that was taken from her, something that existed before the accident, before the guilt, before the weight of carrying someone else's death." "What was your favorite piece?" I ask, settling into a chair against the wall. "Giselle." She says without hesitation, "Act 2, the Willis scene, where the spirits of betrayed women dance their lovers to death." Of course, even in ballet, Grace is drawn to stories of love and loss, of beautiful destruction. "Show me." She looks at me in the mirror, and I see fear flicker across her face. "Henry, show me who you were before. Show me what you lost." For a long moment, she just stands there, her grip tight on the bar. Then, slowly, she releases it, walks to the center of the floor, takes first position. The music starts. She must have set it up before I arrived, and Grace begins to move. At first, she's tentative, uncertain. Her movements are careful, controlled, like she's afraid her body won't remember. But gradually, as the music swells, something changes. Her spine straightens, her arms float into perfect alignment, her legs extend with liquid grace, and she transforms. This isn't the broken girl I know, the one who carries guilt like a second skin. This is someone else entirely ethereal, powerful, utterly in command of every muscle, every breath. She moves like water, like wind, like something not quite human. I've never seen anything more beautiful in my life. She leaps, and for a moment, she's suspended in air, defying gravity through sheer force of will. When she lands, it's silent, controlled, perfect. She spins, and her movements create wind that stirs her hair. That makes the fabric of her leotard ripple like liquid. The music builds to its climax, and Grace with it. She's crying now. I can see the tears on her cheeks, but she doesn't stop. If anything, she dances harder, faster, like she's trying to outrun something. Like she's trying to dance her way back to who she used to be. When the music ends, she collapses to the floor in a perfect reverence, her head bowed, her chest heaving. The silence that follows is profound, sacred. I don't applaud, don't speak, don't move, because I've just witnessed something holy, something private that she shared with me like a gift. I start. Rusty, she says, wiping her cheeks with the back of her hand. Sloppy. My extensions are terrible, and my port de bras perfect. I stand, cross to where she's still kneeling on the floor. That was perfect, Grace. She looks up at me, and her face is radiant despite the tears. It felt like flying. It looked like it. I help her to her feet, and she doesn't resist when I pull her into my arms. She's warm and solid and real, her heart hammering against mine. I missed it, she whispers. God, Henry, I missed it so much. Then don't give it up again. She pulls back to look at me. What? Apply to Juilliard again, or wherever you want to go. Don't let fear rob you of this. It's too late. I'm too old, too out of practice. You're 18, and what I just saw. I shake my head in wonder. What I just saw could move mountains. Hope flickers in her eyes. Fragile but real. You think I could still have this, after everything? I think you never lost it. I think it's been waiting for you to be ready to come back. She reaches up to cup my face, her palms still warm from dancing. How do you do that? What? Make me believe in impossible things, the same way you make me believe in them. She kisses me then, soft and sweet and full of possibility. I can taste the salt of her tears, but also something else, hope, maybe, or healing. When we break apart, she rests her forehead against mine. I want to try, she says. The auditions, I mean. I want to try again. Then we'll make it happen. I'm not going anywhere. Remember, we're in this together now. She smiles, and it's the first completely unguarded smile I've ever seen from her. It transforms her entire face, makes her look young and carefree and infinite. I love you, Henry Walsh, she says, and the words don't sound like a confession anymore. They sound like a promise. I love you too, Grace Patel. All of you. The dancer and the survivor and the girl who's learning to trust happiness again. She spins away from me then. A perfect pirouette that ends with her arms extended toward the mirrors. In the reflection, I can see our future spreading out like a dance, complicated and beautiful, and worth every moment of fear it took to get here. Dance with me, she says, holding out her hand. I don't know how I'll teach you. I take her hand, let her pull me into the center of the floor. She shows me how to hold my arms, where to place my feet. I'm clumsy, graceless, nothing like the ethereal creature I just watched command this space. But Grace doesn't care. She laughs when I stumble, steadies me when I lose my balance, guides me through simple movements that feel revolutionary because I'm doing them with her. The late afternoon sun streams through the studio windows, painting everything in gold. Grace glows in the light, incandescent with joy and possibility. And I think this might be what healing looks like, not the absence of scars, but the courage to dance anyway. Ready for the grand finale? She asks, mischief sparkling in her eyes. Before I can answer, she's leaping into my arms. I catch her, barely, stumbling under her weight, but holding on. She throws her head back and laughs, pure and bright and completely unguarded. I'm flying again, she whispers. You never stopped, I tell her. You just needed to remember how to spread your wings. As the sun sets through the studio windows, casting everything in shades of amber and gold, Grace Patel dances in my arms. And I know, with absolute certainty, that this is just the beginning of our story. There will be more tears, more fears, more moments when the past tries to pull her under. But there will also be this laughter and light and the kind of love that makes you brave enough to leap, trusting that someone will be there to catch you. Together, we're learning that love isn't about fixing someone's broken pieces. It's about helping them remember they were never broken at all, just beautifully, perfectly human. And as Grace spins in the dying light, I know we're both finally ready to fly.